What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, I've been kind of sitting back a little bit, you know, chillaxing, kind of just looking at, excuse me, gotta adjust little things here. Looking at the landscape, the not the atmosphere, but just people, right? People in the fandom worried about the rumors that, oh, Starfield's gonna go multi-plat, Hi-Fi Rush is gonna go multi-plat, all these games are gonna go multi-plat, and then everybody's freaking out like, oh my gosh, I hate Xbox, I believe Xbox, blah, 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 kind of like what Crab Gamer did back in the day when, I forgot what game it was, but it was going to PC or so, I forgot what it was, and then Phil just like kind of slapped him, like slap, and then Crab Gamer was like, and that's when he switched to the pony side. Yeah, Xbox hasn't said anything. Now, the good thing about this is that the rumors were released, right? Now, with these corporations, with these companies, there is some strategery, if you will, when it comes to ideas. Like, they could put out a poll, right? They could say, hey, do you guys think that these games should go multi-plat? No, they leak a rumor. They leak a rumor, and they see how the public takes it. And public sentiment, yes, is important, but the bottom line is the most important thing. And so they can do the math and say, well, you know, is it worth it for us to do it multi-plat to get the extra money? I mean, they don't need the money. They get enough money, but it's just a matter of they get that extra money, and it's just better, you know, better for the shareholders, better for money. Get more money, you can make more games, blah, blah, blah. There's some caveats to that, of course, because it's like, oh, if you put it on PlayStation, then they get 30%, and then that helps them, which isn't a bad thing because you want the industry to be healthy, you know. And I believe that Xbox, Microsoft are in the business to try to keep the industry healthy and to make money, obviously, but you know, they're not in it to like destroy everyone else so they can be the only ones. And that's what Sony does. Sony's like, we want to destroy everyone. We destroy Sega, we wanted to destroy Xbox, we wanted to destroy Nintendo, but we can't because they're too strong, you know? And so you see the two different strategies, the two different ideologies, if you will. And I like the strategy or the movement or the you know, just the way that Xbox is doing their thing, because like I said, overall it's better for the industry, not so much better for Xbox. I mean, it is, but you know, everybody with their narratives want to be like, oh, this is gonna cause Xbox, I'm gonna leave Xbox, I hate Xbox, I'm just gonna get a PlayStation and a PC or whatever. And I'm like, how's that changed from anything? You know, that's what was happening anyway. So what Xbox will do is, if it's multi-plat, which it's not a big deal, but the thing is like, it's the same thing with PlayStation, right? They're doing their multi-plats with PC, right? And you know, they wait a year, they wait 2 years. I mean, it's going to be shorter now because they're trying to make that money. And I think, I forgot what game it is. Is it Foam Stars? I think that, I mean, it's a third party, but they're trying to pretend it's first part, whatever. I think it's going to PC at the same time. And so, you know, certain games obviously will, because they need the install base to play the game. A game that is like that, a multiplayer game, needs players. So they can't be like, oh, it's only on PlayStation, so you got to buy PlayStation. No. That doesn't work anymore. And so, you know, PlayStation is doing it. You know, MLB The Show is on it's on Game Pass. That's the worst smack. I've already talked about that, but that's like, phew. So this whole third party, Xbox going third party rhetoric is just BS. It's just dumb because PlayStation is doing the same thing. The thing that you have to realize, of course, is that Xbox has a bigger gaming IP / library as far as players. with that acquisition, they have a huge player base. So it's like, okay, well, you know, we can cut off our player base and try to sell more consoles, but that's never been their move. That's not their motivation. Their motivation is to get players playing their games, period. And that's what's up. And I've said this before. You look at any multiplayer game, multi-platform game, excuse me, it's everywhere. The most popular, the most successful games, multi-plat, are everywhere. And so Microsoft realizes this. They know this. Netflix is on everything. So, you know, this whole notion that, oh, it's got to be exclusive to, yes, there's some games that will be exclusives, probably mainly the single player games. So Starfield, does it need to be multi-plat? Not necessarily. I don't think so. And especially with Power World, how Power World is kind of blowing up. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's over 20 million players at this point. But it was 19, it was 12 and 7, you know, PC and Xbox respectively. And that alone proves that you don't need a PlayStation. You don't need to put your games on PlayStation. Putting your games on the Wii, that's totally fine, because the Wii, Nintendo and Xbox have had a okay relationship. I'm not gonna say it's like rosy and all that stuff, but they've had an okay relationship. Banjo-Kazooie is on Smash Brothers. You know what I'm saying? They have done Steve from Minecraft, Smash Brothers. They have done deals. So, like them putting Hi-Fi Rush or even Starfield on the Switch or Switch 2 or Super Switch, whatever, that is probably the best move that they can do. And then excluding PlayStation, yes, that's exactly what they should do, because, you know, like Sony's not gonna do any fair. No, Sony's not playing fair. They're not like, oh, we're gonna be nice now, kumbaya. No. And that whole kumbaya stuff, everybody knows that's not true. You look at the freaking Rottweiler himself, freaking Matt Booty. He's a pit bull. He's all the dogs. He's all the junkyard dogs. He's crazy. He's like, well, yo, let's spend him out of Phil. Let's spend them out of business. And Phil's like, listen now, let's calm down. All right, Matthew, all right, slow your roll, son. It's like, nah, son, I'm tired of them. Nah, that's it. Let's kill them. Let's just bury them. We got the money. Let's go. Phil's like, hold on, Matthew. All right, now, let's calm down. Let's think about this. You can imagine the talks that they had. Phil and Matt's like, and Phil's like, come on now, I can't go on the camera and say we're gonna kill y'all. You can't do that. I gotta, you know, we gotta give you something to work with, Matt. And Matt's like, all right, boss. This motherfucker just almost hit me. Man, you better pay attention. Lucky. There's another trailblazer. Almost hit me. Look at him. Look at him in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Look, this fool. Swerving. Come on, son. I know y'all say, well, you shouldn't drive and record videos. It's just true. But I'm not the one almost crashing into people. This fool did. Anyway, Matt and Phil, sorry for the tangents. Matt and Phil, you know, they talking. They have their strategies. Xbox has their strategies. And, like, if you think about what Xbox is doing, what Xbox does, right? So far, they have made, I think, maybe 2 mistakes this generation, and I was trying to up the price of gold, and it was something else that I can't remember. But those were like executive decisions. I mean, most of the things are executive decisions, like putting a game on another platform is an executive decision to make money, right? But it's less of, it's more of, yo, let's get this game on the Switch so that more players can play and we can make more money. It's the reverse, so we can make more money and more players can play for them, you know. But still, it works both ways, right? So that's less egregious than just, we just want to make more money, let's raise the prices. That's what Sony did multiple times this generation. And so, like I said, I like the way that Xbox is doing what they're doing. Now, going back to all this outrage about, oh, this game is going to be on PlayStation and I hate Xbox and forever and whatever, you know, whatever they said. I still don't get it. I mean, even if let's say Starfield went to PlayStation, right? I mean, are they going to sell any more, like a bunch more copies on Xbox or on PC? Yes, when the mods hit, and that's another thing that you guys don't realize. PlayStation doesn't allow mods. And not to the extent that PC and Xbox does. They don't allow mods because they're afraid of getting sued, basically. They're scared. PlayStation is scared. They're scared to show some booty crack. They're scared to show the nipplies. They're scared to show... I don't even understand how Stella Blade is on PlayStation because she's showing too much flesh. Her body shape is too sexy. They better... I mean, they're going to put some corduroys or something on her because they got to censor it because that's what they do over at PlayStation. If y'all didn't know, that's what they do. Go look it up. And so I'm like, look, Xbox, they do their thing. They're gonna keep it moving. The decisions that they have made, except for those two, the one I can't remember, and they try to raise the price. They switched real quick. It took them 6 hours to flip it and make it good. And like they haven't made a big mistake yet this generation. And I give that to Phil. I give that to Sarah. I give that to Matt Booty. I mean, even though he doesn't have those decision powers, that's not his role, but still, he's part of the team. So I don't see how, like, any decision that they make, it shouldn't affect you as a gamer, because it's basically what their decision making is for their bottom line, is for their shareholders, not for us per se. Now, could they make us mad because, oh, we feel like, you know, second-class citizens because we're giving PlayStation, this is rhetorical obviously, we're giving PlayStation exclusive Xbox games, but hey, but they're not giving us anything, right? They're treating us like crap, but we're giving them, you know, how's that? You know, it should be an eye for an eye. And sure, you know, most people are like, yeah, that seems fair, but Xbox has been playing a different set of rules. They have been playing a different game of chess this whole generation, and they have been succeeding every step of the way. You look at the freaking FTC and the CMA and all that stuff that went down, and how what Sony was trying to do, what Jim Ryan was saying, it's like, what? Huh? It's like ridiculous, right? You're like, okay, this fool is just, huh? And they were cool, they were calm, they were collected, and they were like surgical strategy, that's not a word, surgical strategies, surgical insertions of the strategies, and they did what they needed to do. They got the job done. And so my thing is, like, I don't see where, I mean, all this outrage is mainly the fanboyism, like the super fanboys are like, oh, I'm an Xbot and I don't think they deserve this and that and the third. And you have to, like I said, I always say this, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, which I am, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but the bottom line is, this is super important for us gamers who love games, and it is the health of the industry. Now, if Xbox has to be the guardian of video games in the sense that they are looking out for the health of the industry, while PlayStation is not, Sony is not, Nintendo, they're doing their own thing, and so they are securing the industry in their own way without harming it, if that makes sense, right? They have their console, they have their exclusives, they're not buying exclusivity away from another competitor, you know what I'm saying? That's what Sony does. That's their whole shtick. And I'm like, that's bad. You're literally harming the industry by your business practices. And I don't see how these fanboys don't see it, and I don't see how just any person with common sense doesn't see it and is a little upset and disturbed by that behavior. But, you know, fanboys can be blinded, fanboys will be blinded, fanboys will believe what they want to believe. And I mean, that goes beyond fanboyism. That's a certain kind of mindset for certain people. I've had a little experience in that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think the industry as a whole is in a good spot. It's in a good place. Hardware-wise, it's cool. I think there may be a shift coming, like with Microsoft's new stuff. I mean, maybe they'll do a 2 SKU thing again, but one will be a handheld and one will be a console. So instead of having like the Xbox Series S, they would have a Xbox Portable, basically, XP, and then the Xbox Super Duper Alpha X or whatever they call it, the main console. You know, so one powerful console, home console, and one console that is comparable to the S as is to the X, but it'll be portable. That would be the smartest thing to do, because that way you still maintain that 2 SKU kind of you know, thing, whatever. the 2 SKU idea still is there, but I think what they do need to do is make it easier for the lesser powered SKU to be kind of ported. Either you know, you code for the big SKU, you code for the more powerful SKU, and have a way to scale it back easily, like hardware scaling, or I don't know. Maybe they can have an AI chip that can do all the work. I mean, that's kind of what they're talking about as far as a hybrid console, an AI chip. What is it called? The NPU, the neural processing unit. So that's cool. I mean, that kind of makes me excited. I mean, I don't want to get too excited, because a lot of times they say about a bunch of stuff about these technologies and then it's like, it's barely nothing. But I think adding an extra processor in the system that can automatically handle some of the things, whether it's resolution scaling or, you know, whatever it may be, is a good thing. And like I said, it needs to be like super easy for these devs. So you can't be like, yo, you got to code and put all the customized code. No. You press the button, turn it on, it works. That's what you need to do. Have some presets or whatever. You can go in and customize it if you want to, but you need to have certain parameters and certain kind of just ground level basic presets for any idiot coder to flick it on, you know, and let it go, because, you know, that's where we're moving as far as the technology and AI, incorporating AI algorithms and stuff, algorithms into the game making stuff. I mean, as easy as it has become, like with Unreal and, I was gonna say Unity, but Godot and all that stuff, it's not there yet 100%. I mean, it never will be, because there'll always be new technologies and new techniques that'll come around, and then you're like, oh, well, we gotta figure out how to code for that or how to automate that and all that stuff. So, but all those things are super exciting, you know, and I think that that for me, it gives me hope, and it eases my mind as far as the industry and how it will maintain. And like I've said this before, that the industry right at this point is too big to fail, because I mean, even just the phone industry alone, the phone games, mobile stuff, it's just too large, and that stuff is like really low barrier to entry, low cost as far as, you know, when you're comparable, and you know, and I think also last thing, and I'll get out the ramble zone. Sony has created this problem, I said this before, where they have created this AAA space where it's unsustainable, it's too much money and all these things. And then you have examples of smaller games that are huge and they're destroying PlayStation's business model. And so a lot of devs and a lot of companies are watching games like Pal World, and they're like, oh, we don't need to spend 300, 400 million to do something. We need to be smart about the games that we make. Small team, small budget, less risk, and I will guarantee you there'll be more games like that out. And a lot of, and the thing about that is, the more games you put out, like smaller games, or in like AAA indie or whatever you want to call them, the better the games will be. Because if you think about what a AAA Sony game is, it's just a elongated, bloated, smaller game. It's 20 hours instead of 8 hours. It's full of filler instead of condensed and, you know, just freaking concentrated goodness versus a bunch of fetch quests and walking this and being, you know. So I think the mentality of, I mean, it was working for a minute. Sony had it, right? They were like, oh, and everybody was tried to emulate it. And then they realized, oh, Sony's broke as hell. They're not making no money. We're not gonna do that. You know, the business dudes were like, yeah, no, no. So Microsoft was like, yeah, that game you've been working on for 100,000, no, cancel, boosh, denied, bye, go make something else. Here's $10 million, go make a game. You 12 people, go make a game for $10 million, and like, all right. And I would bet you that game, you know, depending on the game, obviously, but a lot of games can be more popular and more successful than those giant AAA games, and it's just math, you know. It's just math. And I'm surprised it took Sony this long to, well, you know what, it didn't take them this long to realize it. Sean Layden knew. Sean Layden was at the forefront of, he's like, oh, we can't do this anymore, you know. And it started the PS3. It started with Uncharted. I think it was the first game. And, you know, the budgets got bigger and bigger. They need to scale it down. They need to, you know, I mean, they could scale it down to a point where it's not like super low. It's not 7 million, but you spend 50 million on a game, and I bet you that game would be dope. But it has to be condensed. It has to be focused. Anyway, I'm sorry for the ramble. I appreciate y'all hanging out, and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments what you think about all this outrage about, oh, Xbox is going multi-platform. I'm gonna leave Xbox. I'm gonna be a crap gamer. Yeah, it's foolish to me. Whatever. As long as video games or video gaming, I am good. Word. And I'm always gonna be a Sega fanboy / Xbox dude. You know, I'll look over at Sony once in a while. I'm like, all right, that's cool. But right now they floundering. They gasping for air. So we'll see what they do. But also let me know about you know, just the state of the AAA industry and how, like, I believe it's going to change, and the games will be smaller and more manageable and stuff like that, but still good. And I think that's what we need. We need some good smaller games. And I mean, there'll be a couple of devs like Ubisoft who will still probably make a giant open world type of game, because that's how they are pretty good at it. As much as and as derivative as their games are, they're good at what they're doing. They're a very good studio. They're very good developers. So I ain't gonna poo-poo them, but you know, I think they could probably make their game smaller as well and lessen up the budget a little bit. But you know, I don't think there's a real problem what they're doing. I think that they just do too much of it, so it gets a little rote. But anyway, appreciate y'all. And yeah, hit me up in the comments, like I said, you know, dibba dabba doo. And I appreciate y'all. And I'll check y'all on the next one too. The wait.